I'm Alana Leffler, and I lead our retail marketing for the Americas Retail Services Platform. And with me this morning is Brandon Singer, Managing Director for Retail Services based in New York. How are you, Brandon?
Doing well, thank you. How are you, Alana?
I'm doing well. We had a great client event last night, and we had a lot of fun with everyone. Yesterday was very busy. We had a lot of presentations to check out, lots of meetings here at the C&W booth. If you're here at the convention center, come down and check us out. We're at booth C1339, and if you're at home or in the office tuning in, we're glad to have you here along with us, and let's get started. So Brandon, you had a presentation yesterday at the Innovation Exchange. How did that go?
Went great. It was very interesting, sort of speaking to a lot of the new concepts that are here and that, frankly, aren't even here yet. That probably will be here soon. New and exciting concepts such as Happy Returns, or Fit House, or Eden, or Winky Locks. The list goes on, and it was a lot of fun and was very well received.
So it was called The New Client, Adapting to the Future of Retail.
Yep.
And you just named a few of these new, cool, creative concepts
Yep.
coming out of retail incubators. And so this was something that you started doing in your strategy as a broker. So, we've been hearing a lot about the retail apocalypse, doom and gloom by the media. What's your take on that?
I think it's overblown, to tell you the truth. I think the retail apocalypse is a misnomer. It's not really what's happening, especially in the urban setting and dense urban environments such as Manhattan, such as Chicago, LA, DC, so on and so forth. I think you're seeing this sort of renaissance period in retail where there's this whole new host of ideas and concepts that are very, very interesting and really taking sort of a new approach on retail, which to some degree hasn't really evolved that much in the past 20 or 30 years, and really sort of combining it with the internet and e-commerce and trying to figure out a way to sort of merge the two.
Right, so these are mainly digitally native brands,
Correct.
pure players, coming to bricks and mortar, doing different experiential concepts, pop-ups, and so forth. So tell us more about those. You mentioned Winky Locks and Eden and a few others, so.
And the list goes on. I mean, in addition to that, you have the traditional pure players, which are probably, I'd say 3 to 5 years old, really in their active sort of expansion strategy into brick and mortar. Warby Parker, Bonobos, Untuckit, the list goes on in sort of that category. And they've realized that, it's not really a competitive thing between the internet and brick and mortar, and that, if the internet is doing well, that the brick and mortar store is not doing well. I think the new commerce strategy, which we're pushing really, sort of strongly here at Cushman & Wakefield, is emphasizing that the internet and the brick and mortar are collaborative, not competitive. And if you're able to have that in your strategy and able to sort of utilize both in how you interact with your consumer, it's a recipe for great success.
Right, and new commerce is something that we're really focusing on at Cushman & Wakefield, bringing our logistics and industrial and e-commerce experts to our retail services platform and combining that for a more seamless approach.
Right.
So tell us, so what is Happy Returns? What is Winky Lux?
Sure. So Happy Returns is a brilliant concept in my opinion. It's a concept that basically takes the online e-commerce platform, the website that you order goods from, and they show up to your house, and instead of having to if you want to return something, if instead of the process that's existed and sort of been a pretty big friction point in online retail with putting the goods back in the box, shipping it up, printing the label, putting it on, carrying the box, bringing it to the post office, waiting 2 to 3 weeks to get the money back on your credit card, Happy Returns has sort of made it more seamless, and they've come on basically opening retail stores, small stores, and pretty all over the country. They just reached their 100th store that you can go, drop the goods off, get money back on your credit card on the spot, and it's over, and that's it. You don't have to deal with the rest of the process and wait 2 to 3 weeks for the whole traditional process to sort of take its course. Yep.
Very
So
convenient.
it's very convenient. Winky Lux is a cosmetics brand that has had a huge following and success on social media, and has used social media to really drive home their strategy to sell to the consumer. They are now realizing that they'd like to grow, and really the only sort of logical way to do that is to open brick and mortar stores. So they are looking in select markets around the country to open stores to, again, interact and have an experience that their customer that's used to seeing them on Instagram can touch and feel and experience and enjoy and learn more about. Yeah.
That's great. I
Yep.
sure would like to check out one of their stores when they open.
Sure.
What about Eden?
Eden is a new take, a new concept founded by a gentleman by the name of Ben Silver. Ben is a very creative founder, has a lot of sort of visionary ideas and new takes on retail. And this concept basically is a new play on the third space. So the first space being your home, the second being your office where you go to work, third being what you do in between. And in dense urban areas such as New York, where we live and work, and others around the country, there's really a huge void if if you're in the urban setting and you want to have a pleasant experience to make a quiet phone call or pick up a cup of coffee in a quiet environment or use facilities for the bathroom in a clean setting. And he's basically sort of, a comparison can be made to an airport lounge. That type of utility for the consumer all over, the goal is to have them all over the urban setting. So another very, very interesting concept.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really neat. So it seems like these types of brands are really looking at their real estate in a totally different way than ever before.
Correct.
What does that mean for you as a broker in the future of retail and how you strategize?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's a very interesting time, obviously. I think the norms and ways of old are clearly changing. And as a broker, you need to change with it. And I think deal structures and getting creative with how you communicate and negotiate with landlords is definitely something that you need to sort of adapt to. I think that the type of tenants that are out there today want to see a broker that sort of understands where they're coming from, understands how they've built their business, and is able to communicate that to their landlord who for 10, 15, 20 years will be their partner in a space. So I think it's important to really work with them and understand really the whole process of their journey and how they came up with their concept, and really communicate that to ownership and adapting sort of with the times.
So it seems like your role is really shifting to more of an advisory, consulting, and being able to go along that journey with them and help them.
Correct. I think for a lot of concepts that are out there, it's really about being involved in the infancy. Really when they're just starting, and if you're able to, collaborate and sort of, shape the vision of their real estate plans and sort of how they're looking to expand their footprint and then roll out in the very beginning, it's incredibly valuable, especially in the eyes of a lot of founders that have lots of questions and sort of ideas that may or may not be realistic in the marketplace. It's important to advise them and sort of help guide them, along the process. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Brandon.
you.
And thank you all for tuning in. Check back with us as we bring you live from ICSC. Take care.